Hi, I'm Jennifer, here with another Machine Minute brought to you by Baby Lock and the Crescendo machine. The Irish chain is a popular pattern among quilters, and it has been for a number of years. It's one where you can see sort of an overall lattice that appears, and whether it's set on point, as this one is, or set straight, the predominant feature of an Irish chain is that grid that goes from top to bottom and side to side. I'm going to show you how to use the quick and easy 9 patches you've made to make a simple Irish chain quilt in a flash. To make a simple Irish chain, you want your 9 patch blocks to all have the dark positions in the same thing. So here, of the 9 patches, 5 of them are dark, and there are 5 9 patch blocks here with 4 setting squares. Now this could be a very scrappy quilt. You could do the reverse of lights and darks, but for this example, the darks all are the dominant color in the 9 patches, and I've used the lights to make the setting squares. This is set on point to the camera, so you can see sort of a diamond lattice starting to appear going this direction and this direction. If I turned the whole thing so it's square, you can also get the same Irish chain effect. It's just a little more geometric with the tops of the blocks being square to the eye, but the diagonal diamonds crisscrossing. And when you put blocks next to one another across a quilt top, that's how that chain appears. Now let me show you how I would join them together. If I have 9 blocks laid out like this, I would simply flip over my 9 patch blocks and my setting squares. But when I sew them together, I like to sew with my 9 patch on top so I can watch those seam allowances and make sure they don't get pushed in the wrong direction. So for this block, while I'm sewing it, I would turn it over, making sure I'm sewing the correct side, of course. Maybe I would put a pin in it to mark it, but I'm going to sew all 3 of these blocks together. So as I get ready to sew, I have my leader cloth in place, and that's so that I can make sure I get a good seam starting at the very edge of the block. And I start sewing, watching my 1/4 inch seam and watching those seam allowances and how they're pressed to make sure they stay straight. When I come to the end of the block, I don't have to cut my thread. I can just begin sewing the next one, and the machine will guide it right through. And keep going until all of my pairs are sewn together. Once your pairs are sewn together, you can put them back out in position to make your Irish chain block start to emerge. Now it's time to add the remaining piece. So I'll position those, take them back to the machine, and sew along these seams. On my Irish chain, I'm pressing all the seam allowances toward the setting squares because there aren't as many layers of fabric to deal with, and that's what I would suggest. So I'm going to sew these 3 seams, then I'm going to sew my rows together, and I'll show you what my block looks like. Once the 5 quick and easy 9 patch blocks and the 4 setting squares are put together, you get the look of an Irish chain starting to emerge. It's a classic quilt pattern and one that's so easy to put together. I hope you enjoy it.